Hi everyone, welcome back. If this is your first time to my channel, hello and welcome. I'm Morgan, and in today's video, I have something super exciting. I am going to be talking about 10 older eyeshadow palettes that are still on my wish list after all this time. I saw Andrea Matillano and then also Gooch do this video, and I thought it was so fun to kind of think back on releases that really captured my heart that I still just didn't pick up for one reason or another. So let's go ahead and jump right into this list. So as I mentioned, two of my favorite creators here on YouTube, Andrea Matillano and Gooch, both did this video, so I will link their versions down below if you're curious what they still have on their wish list. I'm not sure that I'll ever actually pick any of these up at this point, but they're always palettes that every time I see someone talk about them or use them in a video or on Instagram or in real life, I kind of just have that like, dang it, I should have just bought it moment. So let's go ahead and start out with number one on this list. This is the BH Cosmetics Smitten in Switzerland palette. This might be the oldest item on my makeup wish list, not just in the eyeshadow palette category, but in like the everything category. I just absolutely love this color story. It's neutral, but it has some pops of color that are still totally wearable, so I feel like I would get a ton of use out of it. And the thing that really put it over the edge for me, kind of in 2020-ish, is that these square pan palettes from BH have been getting a ton of amazing reviews all of a sudden, and it's making me kick myself even more because I feel like I love the color story, and now I'm hearing that the performance and quality of these shadows is incredible. Also, BH Cosmetics is on the brands I want to try in 2020 list that I did a video on a few weeks back. So we'll see, I might pick it up, or I might see if they come out with a different color story that also appeals to me in this same format. Number two is the Persona Identity palette, and I'm talking about the original one that's all neutral shades. And I just feel like the more I look at it, the more I think it's the perfect neutral palette. Every single shade in here was chosen so carefully, and I've heard that the shimmer formula in this palette in particular is just out of this world. I did forget about this palette for a little bit. I think it was originally released in like 2017 or something, so a while back at this point. But they re-released it in 2020 with new packaging, and that just reignited my desire to have this palette. So it's kind of at the forefront of my mind again after lusting after it for a while when it was first released. Number three is the Natasha Denona Bronze palette. And I know this was a summer release, but for some reason, as we've been getting into more of the winter months, for some reason, I'm really wanting these like cozy, warm, toasty shades even more than I did when it was released in the summer. So I've always kind of admired it, but I didn't feel the need to pick up another neutral palette in the summer, and I still don't have a need for another neutral palette. But I've been purchasing a lot of cool toned palettes lately, so I think the warmth and cozy vibes of this one just are really getting to me now, even more so than in the summer. Number four on this list is the Dreamy palette from Nabla Cosmetics. So Nabla is another brand that's on my 2021 brands I want to try list. And this palette was actually the item that they released that kind of first got me interested in their brand. So I think it's really gorgeous. It has some cooler toned purples and pinks and some warmer toned ones. Really appeals to me because I like both of those tones on my eyes. So to have them both in one kind of concise palette would be really fun. Although it leans kind of purpley pink, it's also definitely still a neutral palette in my mind. So I like the versatility of a product like that. And I just keep hearing wonderful things about Nabla's eyeshadow formula. But again, it's older. I'm not sure that at this point it really makes sense for me to add to my collection. I certainly have pinks and purples. So unless it's something really unique, I don't know that I need to go back and kind of purchase those older items. Number five is the Kaleidos Sashimi City palette. I absolutely love the format of these smaller palettes from Kaleidos. They are a really curated color story, and This one, especially with the salmony tones, kind of reminds me of my Sweet Dreams palette from Ofra a little bit, and I absolutely love that palette, but I really wish that my Ofra palette had some more oomph in the shimmer formulas. So the Sashimi City palette and everything from Kaleidos, I should say, one of their biggest like claims to fame is that their shimmer formula is out of this world. So I really, really wish I would have picked this up when it was released. Now that I have the Sweet Dreams palette from Ofra, I'm not sure it makes sense to add another salmony color story small palette to my collection. I do really love that palette, but now seeing the Kaleidos version and knowing that those shimmers would just knock my socks off, I do have a little bit of buyer's remorse about not knowing about Kaleidos earlier. Also, Kaleidos was not on my 2021 brands I want to try list video, but it should have been because I have been eyeing up their eyeshadow palettes for so long and I just haven't ever pulled the trigger, but I really, really, really want to try their formula. Number 6 is the Rowan 1111 Quad, and I have heard so many interesting reviews on this product. The formula is apparently like nothing else on the market. I like the tones in here. Again, it's kind of that like peachy, pinky sort of color story that I've been talking about, if you're sensing a theme here. But here's the thing that happened with this palette for me. Rowan's a smaller brand, and I am trying to grow my YouTube channel. I want to review brands and products that people are searching for, looking for reviews on, etc. And I got a little nervous when this little quad was released because Rowan isn't a brand I hear people talking about a ton. So I was worried that it would be a big investment. It's expensive for only 4 shades. It's very pricey. So I was worried about investing in something like that and then having kind of no kickback on my channel views. Now that I've been doing this for a little while, I feel way more comfortable with that because I want to purchase things that I love. And if other people don't love it, that's okay. Then they don't love it. And that's totally fine with me at this point. But I was definitely still learning the ropes and kind of getting a feel for trying to balance other people's interest in products with my own interest in products. So I passed on this. Then it went on sale during the Sephora sale, like their holiday time one, and it was only $29, which is still, in my opinion, really pricey for a 4-pan, little tiny pans in these eyeshadows. So I didn't pick it up still when it was on sale. And now that it's not on sale anymore, I wish I would have gotten it during that sale, even though it wouldn't have been beneficial for my channel necessarily. I just want it for my own curiosity to try out the formula and just, I want to put my fingers in those shadows so badly. I can't even explain to you how badly I just want to feel that formula and put it on my eyes. Number 7 here is the Cosmetics Divine Skies palette. And this is like the cutest little concise palette of all time. And again, you're probably sensing a theme here. It's kind of those nice warm pink tones in a really edited, curated format. And that's what I love. I love smaller palettes. So this Divine Skies palette really, really caught my attention. And then what put it over the edge for me of being kind of this permanent staple on my wish list is that Khaki Reviews Beauty. She's someone here on YouTube who I really enjoy watching. She talks all the time about how the Cosmetics brand as a whole has really like intelligent shade ranges and how somehow, no matter your skin tone, every shade, even if it's one that you would think, oh, I can't wear that color on my skin tone, somehow everything looks amazing. So that has kind of been the thing that has kept the Divine Skies palette on my little wish list because I just feel like there's no way to go wrong with it when it's from a company that has such a firm grasp on what shades and formulas look wonderful on so many people. Okay, number 8, we're getting down to the end here, and this one is the Flower Beauty Jungle Lights palette. So this is a little 6-pan palette. I actually think it's quite large. I've seen it on some reviews and it actually looks big, but it's only 6 pans. It's apparently a super unique formula. Like I've heard a comparison of it to like almost a cream, but not quite. So that it's like really that like creamy powder formula. I think it's a relatively good price point at like $19 for something that's a more unique formula and color story. But the thing that has always stopped me with this palette is that I'm really only drawn in by 3 shades. And those are the greeny, like army green shade, the deep, deep purple, and then the kind of like mauvey pink in the bottom corner. And the other 3 shades, I could take them or leave them. And so I think with a palette that already has such a condensed color story and kind of purpose, it's hard for me to pull the trigger on something like that where I know that those other shades are just something I'm not really interested in. So do I buy a palette when I know I only really, really want half the shades? I don't think so. So I think this is something that's just going to live on my wish list permanently forever. Okay, number 9 is the Huda Beauty Nude Obsessions palettes. I'm talking about the little 9-pan ones, and in particular, the light and the medium varieties of this little line that they released. I'm not sure which one I would pick up. I mean, probably I'd pick the medium just because I know myself and I know I want to have at least a couple of those deep shades in a palette for it to be like really workable for me. But I won't lie, the light one just looks delightful as well. One of the reasons I'm so intrigued by this palette, or these palettes I should say, is because not all of the Huda Beauty palettes get good reviews in terms of formula, but I've heard consistently amazing reviews about these 9-pan palettes, and the quality of these shadows is really incredible and comparable to Huda's larger palettes, which are typically really, really high quality, made in Italy. So to be able to try that formula, but in a smaller, more compact, again, curated little 9-pan really interests me. To be honest with you, my kind of strong desire for these has waned a little bit as I've started looking into kind of other brands that have similar color stories. So I don't think I'll ever pick these up. They will probably just be kind of in my mind as something that really sparked my interest in these more curated, smaller palettes and in those kind of pinky neutral realms of makeup. And then last but absolutely not least is the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. So I have only ever owned one other eyeshadow palette from Urban Decay, and it was the Naked 2 palette like way, way, way long ago, and I don't have it anymore. I got rid of that, many years ago after I started kind of acquiring other eyeshadow palettes with neutral color stories that I felt like performed a little bit better than that Naked 2 palette. In truth, I kind of thought that the Naked 2 was a little bit of a boring color story, and I know that a lot of neutral palettes are fairly boring color stories, but something about that one just really, I lost interest and excitement for that palette so quickly. And I think that kind of made me feel turned off from Urban Decay for a while. And the next thing that really sparked my interest in Urban Decay was the Naked Honey palette. In contrast with all of these like kind of pinky purpley tones that I've been talking about through the rest of this video, the Naked Honey would have been such a unique color story added to my collection. I've heard it has great quality, and every time I see it on someone's eyes, I think, what is that color? Like, how do you even describe those sorts of colors? They're kind of greeny, kind of yellowy, kind of neutral. They're just so interesting and unique. And I truly haven't found anything quite like that palette since that one came out. So it just keeps popping back in my mind over and over and over as I kind of look at my own eyeshadow collection and think, what's missing here? What could I add that would be really interesting and give me a whole new perspective on the makeup I have? And this palette always comes back into my brain. So it might be a little too late for me to purchase this for any sort of review reasons on my channel. I mean, I don't think I would get views from that, but I might just have to do it still because it's so gorgeous, and I'm scared that I'm gonna let this one get away. I'm scared it's gonna sell out and I'm going to regret forever not picking this up. So I really can't think of another palette that is a better contender for me to purchase off of this list, just because I think it would bring me a lot of personal satisfaction to own it, even if it doesn't hugely kind of impact my presence here on YouTube. Okay, and that wraps up my list of 10 eyeshadow palettes that are still on my wish list after a long time of considering them. I hope you enjoyed this video today, and if you did, I would really love for you to leave me a comment down below letting me know which palettes you wish you would have picked up or you're still considering picking up that have been on your wish list forever. And I would also really appreciate if you'd give this video a thumbs up today and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you next time.